Good morning. It is Wednesday, March 31st, 2021, and I'm back here for Bed Talk 266. And the topic today is empathy, and more particularly, something I've heard recently that caused me to pause and actually be concerned. And that is this idea that sometimes people can be too empathetic. And that's troubling to me because I see a world where we're struggling, especially in leadership, to be empathetic enough, and yet we've got these warning signals that you got to be careful not to be too empathetic. And I guess I just disagree. I don't think the problem is being too empathetic. It's when we let our empathy, which can be very high, inhibit the things we need to do, especially as leaders or managers. For example, if I have trouble setting boundaries around people that I know well, if we label that as you're being too empathetic, then what am I going to do? I'm going to turn down my empathy, when what I believe needs to happen is keep my empathy high, but be willing to set those boundaries. In other words, to find different ways for me to look at it, different perspectives, work on different muscles inside of myself, strengthen my boundary setting muscles versus taking, I would say, the easy out of turning down my empathy. Same thing with someone says, I'm so empathetic, I have a hard time with being direct and honest with people. To me, those are apples and oranges. I have this high empathy around people and understanding and all of these great things which serve me well as a leader of people, which is what we lead. We lead people. But over here, I've got this challenge with directness and honesty, which is really going to be about how I'm concerned how people will see me. I want to make sure people like me. I don't want people to be disappointed in me. All these different things. Well, that's a separate conversation. So what I'm suggesting is two things. Number one, we don't want to turn down our empathy. Number one, the high empathy is not the problem. And number two, make sure that we split the issues. Because when we try and solve complex issues with a single solution, such as turn down our empathy, we end up hurting our overall outcomes. Instead, let's look at the multiple issues involved and let's work on the real issue, not the easy issue. So amp up your empathy and work on the other muscles as you grow yourself as a leader, a manager, and a person. That's it for today. Keep taking care of yourself and everyone around you. And by all means, stay connected.